Oh, there's a baseball game going on right now. I forgot to even look.
Phillies are up 3-0 on Atlanta.
There you go.
All right, at least that was when I last checked.
All these top seeds that had to rest are getting their asses clapped in these series.
And then even in the originals, we were pretty wrong.
Yeah, but that was a toss-up as fuck. I should have remembered the Blue Jays don't know how to win a playoff round. They haven't won one in a long time. And I don't know. I thought the Brewers were going to be better than the Diamondbacks just because the Diamondbacks, kind of like the O's, came out of nowhere relying on youth. But their arms are so good.
Yeah, it's well, I think baseball is almost a little more unpredictable for the most part.
Fuck the Phillies. I can walk down the hall if I need and go get my Chipper Jones jersey and put it on. Fuck the Phillies. But no, I don't know. I know that there's people talking now. There's a lot of talk going on about baseball going back to the 1-game wild card elimination. So these top seeds don't have to sit for 6 days while everyone else gets to stay in rhythm and keep playing ball. Because baseball is a really hard sport to get, be in a full season rhythm and then stop for 6 days and then pick up. Especially when you're coming up against a team that's been in rhythm and playing through the playoffs. So, and it's kind of been obvious. Like I thought of it when I read the article. I was like, well, as an Orioles fan, I would love that. And then I was like, well, the Braves lost game 1. The Dodgers lost game 1. The Orioles lost game 1. I was like, maybe this would be beneficial. I don't know. I think the Astros wound up winning, but they're just so much better than – no, they actually lost 2. So – oh, wait, no, they won game 1. They lost game 2.
Okay.
But it just – they're a better team than the Twins. I mean, the Twins are the weakest team remaining in the playoffs. But it's just I hate this stupid day off crap. Or days off crap, but you got to deal with it until the rule changes, and the O's did not come prepared. I said it yesterday. I think they made the first 2 games too much about like just the flash of the fact that they're there. Like they had a big ceremony before the game with Adam Jones. The game was delayed like 20 minutes because the fucking Orioles had some big ceremony with Adam Jones and a couple other former Orioles celebrating the fact that they were at the ALDS and they were the 1 seed. And then yesterday they had J.J. Hardy throwing out first pitch and then going around and saying hi to every player, and the game was delayed another 5 minutes. I was like, can we focus on the game of baseball? Like, just play the game of baseball. Stop focusing on the celebrity Orioles and play ball.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping in Texas, no more distractions. Maybe they'll bounce back, but we'll see. They're a good team down in Texas, so I don't know. I'm nervous.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But Dodgers, I think, will bounce back. I think, the Diamondbacks had their best pitcher on the mound game 1, so we'll see what happens now. They started, 9:07 tonight, so we'll see how that series goes down. And then, so that's baseball from the weekend. And I do want to say it because I didn't even know it until earlier today when I was looking and saw some preseason games, and I was like, should be starting really fucking soon. Hockey starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
3 games of hockey tomorrow. They're going to have to compete with MLB playoffs, and WWE and AEW all have shows tomorrow, but it'll be nice to see hockey back. So I'm pretty fucking happy to see that. It's not any of my teams, but I'll watch some of the Lightning Predators game because I love watching Juicy Saros play goal. He is so fun to watch in the net. But all right, before we get into football, I said yesterday I was going to talk about it. I know you didn't get to see it, but I've got to talk about it because it's probably the worst thing that's happened to a ranked team in college football in a long time. But Miami was 17-point favorite.
I've read a little bit about this.
Against Georgia Tech. And they were only up 3, but they were up. At home in Miami, up 3 with 38 seconds left. Actually, with a minute something left, with no timeouts left for Georgia Tech. And they ran the ball down the field. They were just running. I don't know why they were running. But with 38 seconds left, on the Georgia Tech 32-yard line, they decide instead of just taking the knee and ending the game, to run a run play. Well, the worst thing that can happens. The running back fumbles the freaking football. Georgia Tech recovers the football. After an incompletion to start that next drive with 28 seconds left and no timeouts and the whole field to go, they complete a pass to the 50-yard line and spike the ball with 6 seconds left. And Georgia Tech completes a deep ball completion wide open for a touchdown to eliminate them from any playoff hopes now that they're no longer undefeated and they lost the game to an unranked team. But to have Miami lose in the final 32 seconds of a football game, they were winning with possession with the other team with no timeouts. And it might be the worst call. I've looked. I have not seen an interview with the head coach. I can't remember his name. He's the former Oregon coach. Over to the
Mario Cristobal?
Yes, Mario Cristobal. Thank you. But he's not the guy who he's not the offensive coordinator. So I really want an interview with the offensive coordinator to know why he didn't just call in a kneel. Or if you're the quarterback, go ahead and get reamed out if you have to. If they call in a run play, why not just be the leader of the team and go, nope, and kneel? Because I just feel like this is just a whole team failure, system failure. This is so bad. I know a lot of people are saying Mario Cristobal should be fired immediately. He's a really good coach with a good reputation, and they paid him $4 million a year. I don't think they're going to fire him, but that OC should have been gone on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But that was really bad. It's not going to go away. People are going to talk about it now every time Miami plays the rest of the season. So they're going to have to live with that one. But that was so bad. And then Maryland was beating Ohio State in the first half and then did literally nothing with the ball the entire second half, so they lose that game. Notre Dame got destroyed by Louisville.
I saw that. I didn't see it, but I saw the score. I was like, wow.
And all the doubts we've had about Georgia. Georgia came out and played ranked Kentucky and just bashed their faces in. So they
Texas lost, right?
And Texas lost to Oklahoma in the Red River Showdown.
Yeah. So, yay.
There's all the big games that we didn't, talk. I didn't talk about yesterday morning. I appreciate you, by the way, Boogie and Brandon, if he's here, for yesterday coming in, chatting, and just keeping it going the entire time. That was really easy.
Yeah, at that time I was sleeping.
I was rolling. I was good. It was helpful that the Bills-Jags game was on.
Actually, yeah, we were. Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, I think we'd just actually gotten up because we started grilling towards the end of the Bills-Jags game. Ugh. Sorry. Gonna happen.
You say you don't want to talk about that game, but let's be clear. You guys have to play USC this weekend, so good luck.
Yeah, actually, that'll be a good, if you can do anything there, it'd be a good bounce back, obviously.
I mean, they have no defense, so it's a good opportunity to take advantage of it.
Yeah, so
Louisville's defense showed up this week.
So Oklahoma moved up to number 5 now.
Yeah, I didn't look at the rankings. I forgot, to be honest.
Ohio 3, Florida State 4, Oklahoma 5. Those are the big ones. Number 6, Penn State.
They didn't move.
Washington 7, Oregon 8.
So that sucks this weekend because I don't know. This is going to be a sucky weekend for college football because you got Notre Dame and USC, and 30 minutes later is Oregon and Washington. And I was like, oh, I want to watch both.
Yeah. So then Texas is 9, USC 10, Alabama 11, North Carolina 12, Ole Miss, Louisville. So Louisville's up to 14 now. Oregon State 15, Utah, Duke, UCLA, Washington State, Tennessee are both 19 apparently, not 19-20. 21 is Notre Dame, 22 LSU, 23 Kansas, 24 Kentucky, and 25 is Miami.
I'm amazed they let Miami stay ranked out.
Yeah, I thought they were going to boot them too, to be honest.
I mean, they were 17th. It's not like it would be that shocking to see a 17 team get unranked for a loss to an unranked.
I think they probably look at it and be like, well, they actually should have won that game if their coaching staff wasn't incompetent.
Yeah. True. And then you got, I know people aren't really talking about them anymore because really they've kind of gone away, but Colorado beats really bad Arizona State team with a game-winning field goal with 7 seconds left. And all everyone wants to talk about from that game is Shedeur Sanders is, going up to the crowd and pointing at his watch and saying, "Look what I got." And people saying he's just so fucking childish and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I agree it was childish, but I mean, he's feeling it and he's rolling right now. I can't criticize anything he's doing on the field. So if he's backing up whatever he's doing, back up whatever he's doing.
I mean, the reason they're having close games isn't because of him, because they have no defense.
Well, yeah, exactly. And no offensive line.
And
really.
no offensive line. So they're winning because of him, not,
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people were like, it showed a lot of less, like a lack of class. I'm like, he's a fucking college kid. He'll grow up. He's gonna learn.
Yeah, he's a college kid who's probably making millions of dollars. He grew up with his dad being Deion Sanders. All right, relax.
It's cool that they have this whatever flying over the stadium for the game, but when the roof is closed, I don't know what the purpose is. They got the Golden Knights there holding up the trophy. The Stanley Cup.
This game, I am taking.
Oh yeah, I forgot
the Packers in this one. Wait, hold on. I didn't check this before. Is Jimmy G playing?
Yes, clear concussion protocol Friday. If this helps any, Jordan Love is 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the road. He's been bad at home apparently.
God, do I want? No, I'll stick with the Pack.
I just think their defense is too bad. That's what I said yesterday when I made this pick. I was struggling with it a little bit.
I feel like I feel like offensively they might be roughly the same, but I figure like Green Bay is just better on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and Jair said he's going to follow Devontae around the field, so I'm actually curious how much they both spent the entire week talking about how both incredible they both are, which I thought was funny. They just kept complimenting each other all week long on Twitter and shit. So
they're trying to be like, really
excited.
You flinch first and say the bullshit, and then I'll bombard it.
Jair's like, I don't have any problem saying he's the best receiver in the game, and he's going to have moments where he beats me this weekend. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard you say someone can beat you. Yeah. But all right, let's just get down to it. Thursday night, Commanders Bears. So we're gonna do something different instead of randomly talking about stats. We're gonna just give takeaways from what we saw from the game. I'll let you go first. I know you're gonna have a harder time with the weekend since you were having a great time. But Bears Commanders.
I guess my first takeaway is I thought Washington's defense was good. But when you let Justin Fields throw for touchdowns, it kind of tells me something.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And they had no rushing, none.
No, Brian Robb. Well, I mean, they fell behind so fast.
Yes, I mean, I only basically got scores, so I only saw pieces of it, you know what I mean? But that's my takeaway from the game is like how did you let him pass on? I mean, and he was only 15 to 29. He was still 50%.
52%. Yeah. And the thing about it is, so my takeaway is.
Oh, I'm sorry. My last takeaway, cover DJ Moore.
Yeah. My takeaway is Jack Del Rio is honestly way past his prime of a good defensive coordinator. And it showed this weekend because you let this kid, Justin Fields, who's been bad all season minus the Denver game, throw for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he only threw to 3 people, 2 tight ends and 1 receiver. How do you not shut it down?
Dude, 8 catches for 230 yards is pretty good.
Did you see the trade I made in Dylan and Durf's league on Wednesday?
No.
I traded Mahomes and Damian Pierce for DJ and David Akane. And I was like, this might be a little risky, but like I have CJ Stroud. So I was like, I'll play the game of him playing quarterback instead of Mahomes if I can upgrade to DJ Moore and get David Achane as my running back. And then literally Thursday, I was like, I'm nervous about DJ Moore against the fucking Commanders, but I'm going with it. And then he puts a 48 bomb up, and I was like, oh, okay. And then David Achane, I was like, oh, yeah. This trade worked out.
I did.
But I still lost because I faced Jamar Chase and fucking Kittle. And I was like,
yeah, Kittle. That was the one game where, like, we were literally in the crowd listening to the music and watching like the show. And me and Billy, the guy I was with, were like literally every once in a while pulling out our phones to update each other on the Dallas 49ers game. And then the one we didn't watch, but we were watching like as it was happening on our phones was the Bills Jags game because we were up grilling and drinking. So
yeah, but my takeaways for that game is just simply the Commanders' defense is really bad. Thought it was going to be good this season. It's going to be a problem for them instead. Sam Howell, I think, is legit going to be their guy moving forward. And Justin Fields, I'm going to say I got to wait and see again because he's starting to come around. And it was two bad defenses, so we'll see. But throw to DJ Moore works, so let's see what happens.
52% is still concerning, right? Like,
yeah, yep.
I mean, a competent defense wouldn't let that happen, but.
Yeah, they play. So the Commanders go to Atlanta this week, and the Bears, they play the Vikings. I can't wait till we get to our power rankings and what is going to be a shit show of a game.
Oh, yeah.
But all right. Then we got the first game of the day on Sunday, which was the London game. London number 2 of 3 in a row. Jags, Bills. This was just all defense. Here's my biggest takeaways from this game. The Bills lost Matt Milano for the season with a fractured leg. Trey White tore his Achilles the week before. So the Bills are lost their number 1 corner, lost their best defensive player in Matt Milano. Can't think of the guy's name, but they have a defensive tackle that got hurt in this game as well. He's probably going to miss at least a few weeks. So the Bills picked up more injuries. But the biggest takeaway from this game, because I'm not going to criticize how the Bills played. Josh Allen threw another costly pick. I will say that was a bad, again, Josh Allen just not being able to clutch up at the end of a game.
Daquan
Jones, thank you. But the biggest thing that I have to say about this game was the refs controlled the game. Start to finish, the refs controlled this game. I don't know what the official number was on there was 19 accepted penalties and 26 called in this game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was just, I mean, Rich Eisen was commentating the game because NFL Network gets this at next week's game. So him and Kurt Warner are the commentators. And at one point, Rich Eisen goes, the refs have more screen time than Trevor Lawrence. And I was like, I don't think you're wrong.
He is correct.
So it was hard to watch, but I watched the whole thing. I mean, I talked about it while we were live and I'm disappointed by that one, but 2 defenses showed up. I'll give them credit.
Yeah.
But I am a little concerned for the Jags offense moving forward. It has not been great.
No, it hasn't. I mean, ETN had a good day.
Yeah, I know. And he tweeted that he played against himself in a fantasy league.
And that's funny. And then they found a way to get the ball to Calvin Ridley, which hasn't been good for them either. They haven't really done that a lot. So
yeah, I regret it. I sat him in our league because I was getting tired of it.
I did too, and I missed out on that. So
where were you throwing the ball, Jordan?
I just think like you said, I think the thing is Jacksonville, you got to be worried about how the offense goes the rest of the way. A big win against Buffalo. Buffalo's suffering now too, like you said, because of the injuries. We'll see how they look. And then I just think that probably the one factor here was Jacksonville was already there. Buffalo had to travel.
Yeah, I know saw a lot of people saying that should not be allowed to happen, especially since that was technically considered a road game. So that counted as one of the Bills' home games, even though they were playing a team that already was there.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up for the Bills' sake for that being a home game. Though we talked about it yesterday because I don't know if you could hear. Like I know you were just able to see glances of it. I don't know if you were able to hear it. The Bills fans traveled so damn well that there was points where I couldn't hear Rich Eisen and Kurt Warner because they were so loud when the Jags had the ball.
That's great.
So I was really Boogie even talked about it. We were really impressed by that yesterday during the game. So I got to give him credit. What's up, Tesco? I don't know how I missed you, buddy. I'm sorry. My migraine is making the screen hurt, so I'm just struggling through it. Actually going to lower the brightness. I think we'll be all right. But all right. I know I didn't ask for lock and whatnot. I know you were just having a good time. I didn't care. So we're not going to worry about that kind of crap this week. But next one was not Jags. Jesus Christ. Colts, Titans. You got this one right. I got this one wrong. I don't know. I had a feeling on the Titans this week. And again, every time I've picked the Titans twice, and they've hurt me each time.
Yeah, they were a team you were really low on this year, too.
I know. I just keep going, oh, well, like, look what they did last week to the Bengals.
You know?
Like, you see what they did last week to the Bengals. I was like, all right, they're getting it together. And then they did this. And I was like, or not? I don't know. All right. So the biggest takeaway is going to hurt Dot, but Richardson is out for multiple weeks.
AC joint, right?
Yeah. Considered a grade 3 strain of the AC joint.
Yeah, they should protect him. I mean, again, this kind of brings up the running quarterbacks and things like that. But I didn't see where he got hit or how he got hit. You know what I mean?
It was just a normal tackle, but two guys were like he went to scramble and two guys tackled him at the same time. You know, right next to each other. But the weight of both of them coming down on him he landed on his shoulder. Yeah, I honestly thought he broke his collarbone because of the way he went down.
Derek Carr, you saw the way he went down when it happened to him a couple weeks ago, so it's kind of similar.
Yeah. But, I mean, the other takeaway, and we did have a guy come in, a new follower come in on YouTube, and he asked if I would start Matt Breida or DeAndre Hopkins this week, and I said DeAndre Hopkins, so I'm really glad I said that because...
Yeah, you were right on that one. I actually started him in one of my leagues, too. Actually, in our league, I started him.
I felt really, nervous about saying it because I was like, it's a new person. I want to, sound like we got this right, and then... But he was like, it's a half-point PPR. I was like, well, the Dolphins will probably be up on the Giants too much for Matt Breida to do much. And DeAndre Hopkins should be all right against the Colts. So, and then he wound up being the best player in the game, even on the losing team, but still. But I don't know. My takeaway for this game is just simply I hope Anthony Richardson get better, but I think Gardner Minshew will keep them competitive. I think they can win with him. And Zach Moss and now Jonathan Taylor with that new contract, that's going to be a wonderful duo. So, yeah, I think Indy's going to have a good time. I don't know. The Titans are just the Titans. They're going to consistently be inconsistent. So, I don't know.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they have no certainty at quarterback. You don't know what you're getting week to week. The defense hasn't been just stellar every week. So, it's just – they're kind of one of those coin flip teams. You pick them some weeks and you don't the others.
Yeah. And Derrick Henry almost had another touchdown pass. DeAndre Hopkins couldn't get the second foot down, but he almost had it.
Yeah. If he got that, you'd be like, all right, look at his touchdown to interception ratio, Tannehill. Get with the program.
All right. The next one, Falcons-Texans. Came down to a game-winning field goal. Desmond Ridder stays perfect, 32-0 at home in college and NFL combined.
329 passing yards for him. That's really surprising.
They seemingly found a little bit of identity this week. They started letting him run some what looked like run-pass options. He was just kind of scrambling out to the left. Bijan or Algier would be behind him, but then he would just throw the ball to, most of the time it was Kyle Pitts for once. Which made me really happy.
Yeah.
Just because I don't own him in any fantasy leagues. I just honestly really wanted to see Kyle Pitts start to have a good career again. So that was nice. Jonnu Smith's still going to be relevant, as you could see in this game. Drake London was going to still be relevant. But Bijan got kind of bottled up. I think Houston just kind of said, let's see if you can beat us with Desmond Ridder.
And they did.
Yeah. CJ Stroud broke the record for the most pass attempts without throwing an interception to start a career. And he currently is one of 4 guys to, in his first 5 games, have I think what is he at, 8 touchdowns or something and no interceptions. I don't know. There's only a very select few that have ever done it. To start a season, not a career, a season. He's the only one to ever do it through a career, start of a career.
Okay.
So Stroud is balling out. Just be good for them if they could get some consistency out of Nico Collins, because he is CJ's number 1 go-to guy, and that offense catches on fire when Nico Collins gets open. But he had a hard time this week against AJ Terrell.
Yeah,
but it was a good game. I actually really enjoyed that game. I was glad I got to see a lot of it on Red Zone because it was just something they kept going back to, because a lot of these other games were kind of big scores, big, like, fast scoring games where they had those big plays. By the way, I forgot to say this because next week there's only 2 teams on bye. It's the Packers and the Steelers. So everybody pretty much is going to play next week. And I hate that the Packers are on a bye on a short week.
Yeah.
Titans, I already knew this, go to London to play the Ravens for the final London game next Sunday. And the Colts, with Gardner Minshew at the helm, get the Jags. And we're on Falcons-Texans. And the Texans get themselves some Saints this weekend. I saw somebody on Facebook claim the Saints are going to win this game 42-0. I was laughing hysterically. And the Commanders and Falcons play next week, so there's those games.
Listen, if you think Houston's worse than New England, I've got some news for you, pal.
Yeah,
I'm a New England fan, and they're not.
I don't even want to talk about New England. All right, potentially one of the worst teams in the league right now played the Detroit Lions and lost 42-24 in Detroit. Carolina got just beat up on.
Which is funny because the passing leader of the game was Bryce Young.
Yeah, 2 interceptions were both really not great interceptions. Adam Thielen had a hell of a game, so I got to give the Panthers that. But yeah, Jared Goff just did what he was asked. 3 touchdowns, no picks, just was consistent and did what he was asked. And the biggest takeaway from this game is David Montgomery is a fucking monster in Detroit that he was not in Chicago.
And yeah, they're just like, okay, just keep giving him the ball.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs was a scratch on right before the game due to a hamstring or a quad. I don't know. Groin. I don't know. In one of my leagues, I didn't even see it. He was my only running back option because of an injury, and he was in, and I was like, oh, well, I could have picked up somebody, but damn it. Oh, well. But I don't know. Biggest takeaway for me for this game is just simply that the offense of the Lions is unbelievable.
Yep.
But their defense does show some holes, which will cost them down the road. Oh, I have one other takeaway. I'm sorry. I don't have any for Carolina except for it's time for Andy Dalton to be your guy, or you just accept that you're going to be a bottom team. And maybe if you get number 1 overall pick, you just keep Bryce. You're going to keep Bryce Young, so maybe you trade it back and get a fuck ton of real estate for it.
Yeah, that might be something to look for.
Kiwi, what's going on, goofball?
A lot of times with these teams that are still looking for the quarterback, they're so bad everywhere else as well that it takes a few years, and they may be a bottom team for a couple of years while they figure it out.
Yeah, no offensive line right now, and their secondary is terrible. So I think they just need to get it a little bit patched up. You know, you got Brian Burns, you got your quarterback. You can see moments where you're like, all right, Bryce Young's got it. He needs a little bit of time. He needs a little bit of protection, and he'll be all right. And they need a running game. They don't have one. They need a ground game.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this, and people are going to go crazy. And this is a hot take. But in my eyes, Sam Laporta is the best tight end in the NFL right now.
He's one of them for sure.
He's more consistent than everybody else right now. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know whatever. Like, I'm not saying he's in the end. I'm not saying he's more talented, more freaky. You know, he's not a better athlete than someone like Kittle and Kelsey. But right now, I feel like he is doing more for his team than at least Kelsey, because Kittle this weekend I showed up.
Yeah, but this is the only week they've used Kittle that way.
Yeah, I know. You're going to be here, but not here. Somebody said it's because he heard Skip, because Skip Bayless said we have so many good safeties. He goes, we have 3 all-star safeties. There's no way Kittle's going to score a touchdown. And Kittle was covered by all 3 for all 3 of his touchdowns. All 3 of them were a different safety.
Yep. You don't do that to yourself.
Xbox is taking priority in the downloading, so the stream is absolute poop. It's whatever. You do you, Kiwi. You live life. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great game, but it was good to see Detroit do this, and it was nice to see Marshall Mathers hanging out in the booth watching this game. Good old Eminem. I didn't have to hear about Taylor Swift this week. I actually got to see Marshall Mathers, so it was good. Detroit gets the Bucks this week, and it'll be a really interesting matchup in Tampa Bay. And Carolina is just going to get steamrolled by the Dolphins. Luma.
Yeah, I don't see Carolina having any shot in that game. But I've said that early in the year and gotten burned on saying they have no chance. So I'm going to say they have very minimal chance.
I put a lock of the weekend on this game, and I got it wrong, I'll be honest. But I fucking took the goddamn Ravens as my lock over the Steelers.
Oh, man, that Steelers defense.
I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't know, but I didn't know Lamar Jackson's 1-3 against Pittsburgh. I didn't know that he has a very bad quarterback rated against the Steelers. I was unaware. And he looked it. He looked after the first quarter, he looked bad. He had 2 fumbles, an interception. He just was all over the place. My biggest takeaway for this game is you don't play Marlon Humphreys until he's ready. They wanted to force him into the game because they wanted to get him back playing some football. That touchdown against Pickens was 1-on-1 against Marlon Humphreys, and he got outrun, and you could see him holding his hip while he was running. And I was like, he had surgery 5 weeks ago, dumb fucks. You got to let him kind of come back appropriately.
Yeah, and you have to recover Pickens, who's a beast.
Yeah, and look here, mister. I've got swag internet. It's going to take 17 hours to install the Sims. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, you got to kind of move out of the Stone Age country. And
oh,
you guys said Len said you talked about even Ohio. I mean, Ohio has better internet than that. So, I mean, there you go. And it's cheaper than New Zealand. But anyway, look, Kenny Pickett looked like crap until the final drive, when that's what mattered. He did it when he needed to. I got to give him credit. And Jaylen Warren was the guy this week. I don't know if Najee was hurt. I have no idea. But
Jaylen doesn't really matter if Najee's hurt. I wouldn't be playing him.
No, he ran 14 times for only 37 yards, and Jaylen Warren had more yards and 5 less carries. They just need to stop trying to make Najee their guy. And they showed it. And so just flat out, the biggest takeaway for this game is simply just the fact that the Ravens continue to bobble games that they don't need to lose. This was a game they should have won. They came out 10-0 and then just fell apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's not much to say about it. 17-10. It's hard to talk about much except for what you said right off the rip. The defense. That Steelers defense is fucking nuts. Highsmith and
Watt.
Highsmith and Watt was just crazy to watch in this game. TJ Watt, they said it on the broadcast. TJ Watt elevates his game when he plays the Ravens. And I didn't realize how much they were right. I went back and looked at stats. He's got a sack every game against the Ravens that he's played. He's got 3 forced fumbles in the 6 games he's played against the Ravens. Like, he is just – he is a problem.
Minka played well. TJ played well. Alex Highsmith played well. I mean, that defense is just it gives teams problems. And if they can – the defense does their job a lot. It's the offense that is the big letdown. So if that offense can – and, of course, the offense still sucked. Like, Pittsburgh's offense still sucked. But they won the game because of one good drive.
Yeah, I mean – and the fact that Alex Highsmith forced a fumble, which TJ Watt recovered for a touchdown, and then TJ Watt strip sacked Lamar Jackson on a game-winning drive, like 1:28 seconds left with 1 timeout. The Ravens are going to be able to drive and score, most likely, but TJ Watt gets to the backfield, strip sacks him, and ends the game. Yep. And then Joey Porter Jr. picked off Odell. And picked off not Odell, Lamar throwing to Odell because Lamar thought Odell was still prime Odell and tried to do a corner fade to Odell, and he was not winning that jump ball.
No.
All right, the next game. I'm going to just give my takeaway before I even say the game. It's time for Bill Belichick to retire. And it's time for the Patriots to admit they need a quarterback. And that's my takeaways. I don't know. 34-0, the Saints win. The Patriots have been outscored like 72-3 in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Being a Patriots fan, I'd like to say we need a different quarterback, but I'm not sure he even got a fair shot.
No, I don't think he has either. He has no weapons. He has no offensive line. I mean, he does, but doesn't. There's good pieces, but there's some holes there that have really started to show.
Yeah.
Ramondre
Stevenson can't run the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if he just needed Damian Harris. I don't know what it was, but now he just looks like crap.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally right now. They're and honestly, I just hope they keep losing. Like, give us some good picks, but don't let Bill make them. Like, it's just,
yeah.
I don't know what to say. You can't lose. Like you can't lose that game 34-0. You can't.
No, it was not pretty. That game was hard to watch. I struggled with it. I talked about it yesterday. I really struggled with that pick. When I saw your pick, I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with the Patriots, but I don't think Bill's going to let himself lose after a 38-3 loss the week before.
Right. I was like, oh, they're going to have a bounce back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, he's going to come out and be like, nah, this ain't us. And then I was like, or apparently it is you. I don't know.
And now I'm like, okay, sell.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of major injuries to the defense, but there's just no weapon. Like we've said, there's no weapons. Hunter Henry's the leading receiver. Like there's just no weapons. So,
and that's what I mean. Like I wish, and I know Mac Jones has looked pretty bad the last couple of weeks, but like I said, the guy just they haven't given him a fair shake. And
no, he's under pressure all the time. He doesn't have, like we've said, weapons. And I think confidence is just slowly fading faster and faster. And when you now have Bailey Zappi coming back into the starting rotation again.
It's a longer term Zach Wilson play. That's what this is turning into.
Yeah, I just feel bad for the kid. But New England gets the Raiders next week in a Josh McDaniels game in Las Vegas. So Josh McDaniels gets to face his old mentor. And the Saints.
I'm like, how the hell is that game going to go? Like, who knows?
I know. I'm trying to judge the Raiders pretty hard right now by this game. And the Saints go visit Houston next week. So there's that. All right, Dolphins, Giants. Wasn't much of a game again. Wasn't expected to be.
Tyreek Hill in the first half had 100 yards. I mean, can't let that happen.
Red Zone guy commented on the fact that O'Shane had the fastest time recorded so far this season, and the very next drive, Tyreek Hill catches the ball and goes for 22.1 mile an hour, and now has the fastest time recorded. I was like, I don't know if he can't hear the guy in the booth, but he just came out and said, "I got this." They said the top 6 fastest times recorded on the field this season in the NFL through week 5 are all Dolphins.
Yeah, like I said, they're a track star team. They literally just outrun you.
Yeah. So my takeaways for this game is they have a number 1 running back now. Mostert's a great number 2. I don't think you should split the carries more than 50-50. I think they're perfect 50-50 the way they've been doing it. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, you trade Jeff Wilson when he gets back from his injury, right?
Which is this week. So, yeah, I agree with you. And it was good to see Jalen Waddle get a touchdown. The offense is great. Just Tua needs to stay protected. We saw it again in this game. He got under pressure and threw interceptions. He does need to work on how he handles pressure. He doesn't handle it well.
Maybe he should take the guy to the ground and put him in a chokehold from that jiu-jitsu training.
And on the other side, I don't know what Daniel Jones' injury is. I should have done some research before tonight.
I can take a quick look here.
But Tyrod looked okay. It's a neck injury, so I don't know. They said he's optimistic for week 6, but I don't know. But I'm going to be honest. My takeaway for the Giants, until Saquon comes back, they're a garbage team. We saw it again. They just have no offense without him.
Even with him, they struggle. So, I mean.
Yeah, but at least they have some potential to score. Like during this, I was like, there's just no offense. I was like, what is happening? So here's a crazy stat, though. I know people love crazy stats. Right now, David Achane is averaging a touchdown every 7 touches.
Wow.
That is fucking amazing. He did lose the ball this week. He's a rookie. You know that happens. They make the rookie mistakes. But it was, all Dolphins. That's exactly what I expect.
So, according to Jones, he says that they took x-rays, nothing negative. His neck is sore. But I guess the history is that obviously 2021, he had a season-ending neck injury.
Yep.
So they're optimistic he'll be back, but we'll see. It's kind of, remember when they told us Tua's injury was a back injury?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on that.
Dolphins get the Panthers next week. Giants, unfortunately, get Sunday night football against the Bills.
Yeah.
I don't even.
They're sliding fast.
Yeah. All right. Next one we had was, you got this one right. I got it wrong. This was my upset of the week. Eagles beat the Rams 23-14. I honestly thought the Eagles were going to get beat pretty good, actually. I thought it was going to be a 7-point game in favor of the Rams. I'm going to be 100% honest. I still have yet to feel overly impressed by Mr. Jalen Hurts this season. He looked good. I won't give you I won't take that away, but he's not blown me away. And this was one of those defenses where I was like, he's going to come out and blow me the fuck away. He didn't really blow me away, but they got Dallas Goedert involved. AJ Brown stayed involved. DeAndre Swift continues to remain a problem. Nobody seems to know how to handle. And the Rams, as I said, we're going to have to figure out how to get Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp involved. They both got involved. The person that suffered was Tutu Atwell.
Yeah. Kind of just
he went bye-bye.
Yeah. And it's probably gonna stay that way, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. You're not going to take those two any less time throwing the ball. You're going to throw to those two before you throw to Tutu Atwell 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and yes, they won another game because the brotherly shove put them in the end zone, and then they could ice the clock when the Rams threw that pick.
Listen, if you don't touch your homies' butts, I got news for you. You're just not doing it right.
I don't know who the Rams or the Texans were playing when they tried it in the preseason, but C.J. Stroud was the quarterback that tried it, and he said one of the linebackers came across the line sideways and almost took his head off. He goes, I told my offensive coordinator I don't want to run that play anymore. Dude, I don't know how that hasn't happened yet against the Eagles, and they're lucky because I don't want to see anything happen to Jalen Hurts, but
yeah,
I think that play is very dangerous.
Yeah, I think he gets low enough because he's so big that he just kind of –
yeah, Jason is such a good person to follow. Like, I think, honestly, if anything happened to Jason Kelce and they try that play with whoever the backup center is, I don't think it works.
No, somebody probably does decapitate your quarterback at some point.
Because Jason Kelce is a freaking freak of nature. He really is. He's just an absolute beast.
Yeah.
That guy, it's like there's not often where you talk about offensive linemen being first ballot. He is the definition of first ballot, and I'm so excited to see when he gets to the Hall of Fame because centers get less credit than any other offensive lineman.
Yeah, so, the tackles always get, because they're the protectors.
Yeah. Ooh. But that guy, he's just a leader completely top to bottom of his entire personality. He's just a wonderful fucking guy to have on the team. I'm so happy for the Eagles to have him his whole career. I love players that play for a team for their whole career. They could play for one team I hate. They could play for the Cowboys their whole career. I'll still like them more than I would anyone else on the team because they play. I just love that loyalty.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find in sports today. I thought Aaron was going to be a Packer for life, to be honest. I know all the drama, but I was like, it's never going to end. He's just going to be here the whole time. But
Yeah.
It didn't happen, so that's fine with me. But yeah, biggest takeaway from this game is that we at least saw that Nakua is still going to be relevant while Cooper Kupp is. And the Eagles defense started to play some pretty good takeaway defense. So and Jalen Carter is really becoming a problem.
Yes, he is.
He is going to continue to get better since he's a rookie, and he's starting to really make me go, holy crap. We're going to have some problems. But yeah, anything for you for this one? I know, like I said, I know you couldn't watch. You got to stat check and stuff, but
nope. I just for me, I think the big thing is that even though the Rams lost, they're still overperforming. I think what everybody was thinking they would do this year.
yeah,
So I think they're a bit tougher out than people think. I think the Eagles are one of the top teams still, even if they don't look as good as they did last year. So yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. But like you said, for the Rams, they're going to have to keep that healthy balance between those receivers and let whoever's going off go off. And I think against this defense, it was going to be tough no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. Rams next week get the Cardinals. The Eagles get the Jets.
Okay.
Poor Zach Wilson.
Yep. Yep.
All right, next one was Cardinals Bengals. You got this right. I again got it wrong. I rolled with Josh Dobbs and Jamar Chase. He came to play. I don't know. My takeaway from this game is that the Bengals offense might be all right. They might be coming back around. Joe Burrow might have just needed to rest that goddamn calf. But
they did have an interception, right, for a touchdown.
He did have a pick. Yep. And Josh Dobbs maybe came back to earth a little bit. Not that he was like lighting up the stat board, but he was, consistent in protecting the football. And he threw 2 really bad picks. He should have thrown 3. It hit Logan Wilson in the hands twice. It hit him in the hands, then his chest, then his hands, and it hit the ground. So he should have thrown 3 picks in this game. It was not a good game for the Cardinals. I was really disappointed by that. They stuck around because they're a very resilient team. I think the former defensive coordinator from the Eagles is doing a really, really good job taking care of the Cardinals, and they're going to continue to be all right without Kyler Murray. I think they're going to get worse when Kyler comes back.
They probably will. I think just because Dobbs is so humble,
Yep. And he just works his ass off, which I love. But I said it on Facebook, and somebody told me I was wrong, but I posted on Facebook that the past 2 weeks, not including week 5, but week 3 and week 4, James Conner saw a 20% decrease in snap count and a 16% snap count reduction in route running on 3rd down. And I said, people need to start selling high on James Conner. James Conner got less carries than the guy who was behind him, Amari DiMercardo, and was in the pass game 25% less this game than he was last week in the pass game to Amari DiMercardo. So if you have James Conner, I'm warning you ahead of time, sell high. His contract's up at the end of the year. DiMercardo is a rookie, and they're trying to see what they have out of him while they're having a bad season. So they're going to slowly start moving James Conner out of the lineup a little bit more and more to see if this DiMercardo kid can be their guy. And they might even shop James Conner, from what I'm hearing, when it comes closer to the deadline. So if you have him, it might be time to sell him. They're starting to use him significantly less, which is a bad thing for fantasy aspect. I mean, he only had 6 carries in this game. So, and 0 targets at the receiving game. So it is a concerning number for James Conner. That is my biggest takeaway for the Cardinals offense. Bengals, I'm curious if they're back. I mean, if they're back, here we go. 2-2. I mean, 2-3. They can easily roll.
I'm not sure they're back.
We'll find out, right? They get Seattle this weekend. So.
I think this is a good test for them. It seemed to me like the week before, Joe Burrow was struggling to throw the pass downfield.
Yep.
He was throwing very, very short passes. It didn't seem like the calf felt very good. obviously Jamar Chase can take, and that's where you have to look at the actual plays where Jamar Chase caught balls, because sometimes he can take a 2-yard pass and turn it into a 70-yard reception.
100% of the time.
So you got to look at the plays Jamar Chase made and see where he catches the ball to see if like Joe's actually back. I don't think he's 100%. I really don't. And
no, I'd say he's about 80.
This is the Cardinals, so I think the Seattle's a much bigger test. Good for them for getting the win because they needed it. I thought the reason I picked them was I'm like, okay, this is a good bounce back from looking poor, you know?
Yeah.
And if you lose this game, you could really lose the locker room here. So I think for them, big win. They're in a very tough division if you look at it, because Pittsburgh just beat Baltimore. Pittsburgh's at the top of the division.
Yeah.
That's it. It is a very strange thing right now, and it's going to be a very tough road, but they do have it in them to do it again.
We got to get Patrick Taylor out of this game. He is just such a bad number 2 running back, and A.J. Dillon's not stepping up with Aaron Jones out again.
Oh, no. They signed somebody today, didn't they? Just in case?
They did. I don't remember who it was.
Something Taylor?
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. I read that like on my way home.
Oh, it was Patrick Taylor. He was on the they sent him down to the practice squad. Now he's being the number 2. I don't know why he's the number 2 tonight, but he is.
Okay, makes sense.
But yeah, Bengals, you know, they get, like you said, they get Seattle coming off of a bye. Seattle's coming off of a bye, so it's going to be a nice game for Seattle to head to, you know, Cincinnati. It's west to east at 1 o'clock. Pete Carroll's historically good in those 1 o'clock games on the East Coast, and he's actually historically good off of a bye, so this might really be beneficial to Seattle, but we'll see. It'll be a good test for Cincinnati, though. That's what really matters.
Yep.
All right, the next one was a crapshoot. I just picked the Jets because you picked the Broncos.
I know, and I wanted to pick the Jets so bad, and I was like, I can't. They're not going to throw the ball. Well, was I wrong?
Well, I mean, Breece Hall went for 177 yards.
Breece Hall was the reason they won that game. But, you know.
He went off. I don't know what Sauce's injury is. I saw Sauce Gardner went down in this game. But the real story here is that the Broncos offense still can't get any rhythm. They're just there's just like no chemistry or something. I don't know what it is. Like, if you look at Russell's numbers, they aren't bad, but he's just not doing anything except great. I don't know. There's not, and then you got him and Sean Payton started beefing. So
Sean Payton lit him up for that sack fumble, I heard.
Yeah. Granted, I got to give credit, to Robert Salah. I don't know if anyone heard about this. He made Nathaniel Hackett a captain for the game after Sean Payton's comments. And then when they beat the Broncos, he gave Nathaniel Hackett the game ball. And I don't know if anyone else saw this, but their tight end, CJ Uzoma, came out and was like, before the game, was saying it's personal. They talked about Hackett. We're going to go out there and beat them. And they took this game personal. They came out fired up and were jumping up and down, talking all the hype about how they're going to prove Nathaniel Hackett is a good coach. And they won the game. It wasn't pretty, but they won the game.
Yeah. No Javonte Williams for Denver?
No, he was hurt. I don't remember what the injury was. It was something he picked up last week in that game. But this kid, Jaleel McLaughlin, is a good rookie. I'm really excited by him. And Samaj Perine became the number 1 receiver in this game. So he's found his niche that he was back in Cincinnati, and now it's back. You know, it took a few weeks of chemistry building with Russell Wilson, but Russell kept looking for him in the past game. So that's where he belongs. That's where he's great. He's not a great between the tackles runner. He's great on third down and when pass options.
Yeah.
So it was good. But yeah, my biggest takeaway for this game is both teams are really bad and somebody had to win. I really don't. There's not much else to say about either of these teams. Breece Hall's back.
Yeah.
There you go. The Jets get smashed by the Eagles this coming week, and the Broncos get Thursday Night Football in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, 2 smashings. For sure.
Taylor Swift is supposed to be at the game, so maybe the Chiefs play distracted. I don't know. There's the Broncos' hopes.
Yeah, like I guess my takeaway from that is, is Sean Payton gonna get fed up? Like when does it happen?
If they fall to 1-5, why not change quarterback and see what happens?
I mean,
there's just no harm in it.
Yeah, give him a what do you want to call it? Like a wake up call? Like, hey, we're not afraid to move off you.
Yeah, and if the other guy's bad that game, you ride it out, and then week 6 you go back to Russell. You'd be like, or week 7, you go, all right, Russ, you had your week. You see that we can move off if we want to, and we'll suffer. We'll deal with whatever the consequences are, and maybe Russell's head will be back in the game. Who fucking knows?
Right.
Next game. We're rolling through these. Kansas City, Minnesota, 27-20. The Chiefs were bailed out by 3 terrible no calls. I mean,
yeah,
terrible.
They seem to be getting all the calls this year, right? It's like, come on.
And every fan in the world is calling it. I saw Chiefs fans saying that they got bailed out in this game. She's still, it's only been a couple weeks. Give it a couple months. When he can't focus as much on her because they're getting close to playoff time and he's really got to grind out some playoff practice and focus completely on the game of football more, their relationship will wane. But for now, she's not on tour. She's not doing anything, so she's able to travel around and spend time with him and go to games with him. That'll all change. She goes on concert tour in February, so it'll all start to unravel.
She'll start writing songs about him.
This relationship might be the greatest thing for every NFL player in the world. Travis Kelce said how unhappy he is about turf again after he hurt his foot in this game. Swiftie started tweeting, remove turf from the NFL all day today. It was like thousands of fans all of a sudden tweeting about how they want turf gone from football games. Yeah, and I was like, you know what? If that cult of hers can do anything positive, it's remove turf.
Yeah.
But Chiefs get bailed out.
You know what? Maybe the owners should listen because of the Chiefs jersey sale numbers since this thing has happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the interest in the team.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even close.
Yep.
But I love that. But anyway, Kirk Cousins was good again. Mahomes was good again. Kelce was great. Addison was great. But there is a big takeaway in this game.
Justin Jefferson.
Injury. Yep. I don't know how serious.
The injury
it says 7 hours.
All over the place, dude. All over the place.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 hours ago. The thing I'm using, RotoWire, says it's still being evaluated.
Yeah.
So that's a big loss
right now. But everything I've seen has been all over the place.
And then no ground game again for the Vikings, and another fumble again for the Vikings. They lead the league in fumbles, lost this season already. So continue playing sloppy football. They're going to have a real hard time moving forward in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
By the way, not sorry for spamming you with Kelce brother Con. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're talking to me or not.
We're fine with it. I mean, it has to be addressed because it's actually kind of in. It's there now in sports. You're going to see it all the time, so you might as well share what you see.
Jason and Travis are my favorite people to listen to besides Pat McAfee.
Well, they give it like
actually I like them more than Pat McAfee, to be honest.
They give it a spin like as it pertains to their life, right?
Yep.
So it's real nice to see that. Oh
yeah, I love their podcast too. I do think it was funny that Stephen A went after Travis when Travis was like, when he said on the podcast, they're overdoing it and they need to calm down with the Taylor Swift stuff. And Stephen A was like, you knew exactly what you were doing. You did this and you knew this was the result. And I was like, I mean, he might not have expected it to be this ridiculous. Like, it is a little ridiculous.
But anytime you put any time, like Tom and Giselle had coverage 24/7.
I mean, yeah, look, and like I keep referencing, like, because to me, it's the same thing. When Romo was dating Jessica Simpson, that was all they talked about at NFL games.
Right. I mean, it is what it is when you put together these basically superstar couples, it's always going to be something that's there.
But yeah, Swifties are wild. They're fucking insane. They
are very much a cult.
They're the 100% a cult. They are the arguably the biggest cult in the United States. Well, the world. They're sometimes they're a little worse than religious fanatics. Like they
can really sway opinions real fast.
Yeah,
just because there's so many of them, you know.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I don't want to deal with this. We'll do what they say.
On the show today, they had a the not stupid football question, quote unquote. The girl asked what a Gronk was, and Jason being Jason, the comedian that he is, Jason goes, "A Gronk is the guy responsible for the turf at every stadium. Every team has a Gronk." I was like, what? And then Travis had to correct him, but I was laughing so hard.
You're just going to get these Swifties all wrong information.
They're not going to know anything about football.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chiefs play the Broncos, as I said, and the Vikings play the Bears, and I don't know if I can even make a pick for that game yet.
That's a tough one, right? With no Justin Jefferson?
Potentially no Justin Jefferson. You got the Vikings defense is bad enough to let Justin Fields feel good again. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of we'll see when we get there.
But I will say this, one big takeaway I didn't think about or talk about. I'm impressed by the Vikings hanging in this game without Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like something to think about for Kansas City, too, is that all their games have been close, and they haven't lost the close one yet. Meaning, like, I know they do have a loss, but I'm saying these that they should win have been closer than expected. Kind of like the same way I feel about Philadelphia. They're not performing at their top. They're not at their ceiling.
That's actually, I honestly, I'm not impressed as much by the Chiefs. I'm more impressed by the Eagles even because they lost both coordinators, and I still think they look better than the Chiefs do right now. The Chiefs, to me, still don't look anything special. I'm not saying Mahomes doesn't, because Mahomes and Kelsey can win games. But right now, there's nothing else the Chiefs are doing where I'm like, holy crap, this team could win a Super Bowl. Right now, I don't see it. I don't see the Super Bowl team.
I know we haven't gotten to the game yet, but they're not beating San Francisco.
No, actually, that is next. We can roll right into it. The San Francisco 49ers absolutely destroy the Cowboys, 42-10 on Sunday Night Football.
Thank the Lord, because somebody at work now owes me money. But
you did send me that, but I saw it like an hour before I saw your TikTok. But yes,
and I mean, what are you gonna? Dallas always gets this hype, right? Like their defense. And guess who showed up that we know and love? The reason they lose games, Mr. Dak Prescott he just threw 33.3% of the interceptions he needs to get to 10 in one game.
Yeah. Yep. And I gotta point out that Richard Sherman was dead on today. For those who didn't see Undisputed, he was dead on today. He said not only did Dak look like the Dak we all love when he plays a good defense, but your top defense didn't look like a top defense when they played a good quarterback and a good bit of weapons. They couldn't handle it. And he said, and Richard Sherman says, the crazy thing is Micah Parsons talked all week. He didn't even show up during the game. He goes, Micah Parsons was invisible. And then he talked shit after the game and said the Niners aren't on a better level than us. They're not more of a better playoff team than we are. And I'm like, how do you say that after that game, dude?
Yeah. I think it's just – it's always the Cowboys that just talk.
Like, I know you can't say, oh, we suck, but you should, after that kind of game when you're asked, you can't come out and go, we're not worse than them. You come out and go, we have a lot to work on, and we'll get there.
You got smoked by them. What do you mean?
They couldn't stop them. They could not, in their slightest dream, they could not stop that team. The Niners could do whatever they wanted. And a lot of people were talking crap all over Facebook, all over my Facebook Messenger. And I was quiet. I stayed very quiet. Because I was like, I have a weird feeling the Cowboys could come back here. This could be one of those games where the Cowboys just storm back. And then after Dak threw that second interception, I was like, I'm done. It's over. They're fucking done. And I had faith, though. I was like, they could do it. And they couldn't do it.
No.
So, my biggest takeaway from this game is the Cowboys are 100% pretenders. I know it's just a game, but They already lost to the Cardinals. That was their it's just a game. This was a game that mattered on prime time that they prepped for all week. They did special practices for, and they didn't look like they had a clue on how to play the game.
Nope. And they and again, I love the word frauds, right?
Oh, and they lost Leighton Vander Esch for potentially the rest of his career, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
right
at
now
least
they
the rest
said
of the season.
They said 4 to 6 weeks minimum, and then it went to rest of season.
Yeah, and now some are saying it might be the end of his career because he's had this neck injury for multiple seasons now, and I mean that was brutal to watch. But I just the Cowboys are done. They're not good enough. The Eagles are still better. I think the Lions are better, and I think the Niners are better. I honestly think Seattle's better.
Yeah, I don't have Dallas any. If I were to put them anywhere, hell, here's the matchup. Them versus the Steelers. They're really built the same way.
Yeah.
Dallas should win that game, but let me see Dallas play Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want to see. Like, I'm like, Dallas just, they that's what they do. And they always get this early season hype, and it just doesn't work out. Great. Your defense on a fast track when the thing goes your way and you get up early, fine. But if you don't get up on a team as Dallas, you don't win the game. Dak Prescott is a terrible quarterback when you're trailing.
Yeah, he's absolutely that's what we saw again. He was just complete junk.
Yeah. And it's not getting any better. And you're paying
him in prime time again this week too.
If you want to take a good hard look in the mirror, hey, that team that just boat raced you, their quarterback makes less than $1 million a year.
And by the way, Dak Prescott is set to make
a lot of money next year.
Hold on, I actually had it up because I wanted to actually mention that. What is his cap hit? Dak's cap hit next season is $59.4 million.
Yep.
Now they have a potential out after 3 years. So this is the third year. So they could get out of this. But I heard there was chance to see Trey Lance last night because of how bad Dak looked. I've seen Cowboys fans already posting it's time for Trey, and I was like, all right, that's a little dramatic. Dak will still win you the games that you should win. Like this week, they play again primetime. I can't stand back-to-back Cowboys primetimes. But Monday Night Football against the Chargers, there's a good chance the Cowboys win that game because the Chargers have no defense. But
yeah, they could. They could.
But I said it, and I know you weren't here to get like sick to your stomach or yell at me. But I said it. I was like, Dak with Mike McCarthy right now looks like he can handle a game like the Niners. I picked the Niners, but I was like, this game might be all right. This might be close. I made a fucking apology on Facebook for how wrong I was.
Boy, were you wrong.
I made an apology on Facebook because of how wrong he made me.
Man, nope. Nope. You would have never got that. I would have never let that slide if I was here. I'd have been like, bro, I'm telling you. I've said it for a long time. He's a garbage time quarterback. He sucks trying to make a comeback.
I don't remember who they played last week. I really don't. But last week's game, he just looked so poised start to finish that I was like, all right. Oh, you guys, the Patriots. I was like, all right. I was like, maybe he'll be all right. And I was like, maybe he's just, getting comfortable in the McCarthy offense. The Patriots
are just that bad.
And I found out that both are wrong. The Patriots are really the worst team in football, maybe one of the worst teams in football right now. And Dak Prescott is a bottom 10 quarterback. And the funny thing is, Nick Wright on his stupid show on Friday said he would take Dak 100 times over Brock Purdy. And I would never have said that.
I heard that too. I'm like, bruh, what do you
Because when it comes down to it this weekend, I 100% trust Dak more than I trust Brock. I was like, the dude hasn't thrown a pick yet. How do you have that feeling?
Well, now you're gonna have to. Yeah, that's what I should go see is what he said today. Because I want to see the backup. Like, oh, No,
I
no, no,
follow
no,
him
no.
on Tik. I follow
Yeah.
him and his show on TikTok, and he always posts the next day for what he said. So I'm going to look for it tomorrow.
Are you talking about the podcast or the actual show, like First Things
his
First?
show? His first things first.
Yeah, I listened to that one too and follow it. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he had to say because it's like, I mean, Skip threw away his Cowboys jersey yesterday, bought a new Cowboys jersey, and said it's because it's going to be new vibes and new momentum for the Cowboys, and we're going to be fine.
little did he say that it was going to be in the reverse direction.
His Dak jersey, sorry. He said he like when he made the video last night, oh my God, Jordan Love, what are you doing? Oh boy.
I almost picked the Raiders there. I knew I should have. Damn it.
What a bad pick. He threw it right to Splain. I don't think he's it, man. I know it's early in his career. He's got to get the jitters and all. I don't see the killer X factor in him. I just don't. I'll deal with it and deal with it. I'm less likely to pick them every week since the first 2 weeks. But no, I'm sorry to everybody that I made think the Dallas Cowboys were going to keep that close. I really thought it was going to be a close game. I feel dumb. They made me feel real dumb. But I will say that before we completely end football and just chit chat and end it.
We got to do our power rankings.
We got to do our power rankings. That's right. But I want to say this.
To do them if you want to just do like top 10 so we don't have to go through all of them.
I don't know. I would definitely want to talk about some of the bottom ones. So
maybe
I would say top 10, bottom 5.
Okay.
Because the middle is kind of hard. Like when you get to like 12 through 18, really like there's no real number there. They bounce all over the place.
Yeah, they're basically roughly all ranked the same, and it's just how you want to put them.
Yeah, like it's just whatever. But the top 10 and the bottom 5 are worth noting, especially since the bottom 5 are going to influence the draft so heavily with people like Caleb Williams and Drake May and the kid from Florida State potentially coming to the draft and Sam Hartman coming to the draft out of Notre Dame. There's some big names on their way. I do want to point out though the Olympics are coming to the US, which I was unaware of. In 2032 for the Summer Olympics. So I bring that up because they are meeting to discuss
America's team. Yeah, America's team, all right.
They're coming to discuss potentially adding flag football to the Olympics.
Dude, imagine playing flag football and then somebody just spears another athlete and starts a world war.
Tyreek Hill said he's gonna try and push for it and help influence the decision, and he wants to play in the 2032 Olympics. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be like 40 by then, but sure.
Yeah, and he'll still be able to outrun most of the people there.
Yeah, I know. But it'd be cool. But I'm trying to find the teams. Caleb Williams gave his teams that he would play for, which I thought was interesting because like you're going to a draft either next year or this. You kind of can't be too picky. You can be picky this year, but you kind of got to hinder that pickiness as the season gets closer. But I'm having a hard time finding that names. I saved it on my phone and I lost it.
See if I can
either way, I know it was Minnesota, the Giants. It was Minnesota, the Giants, the Niners, the Raiders, and somebody else. I forget who the other one was, but I was like, "You're not going to the Niners. They're never going to be that bad."
No.
But so, all right, top 10. Go ahead and give me one. And I'll give you one. I'm curious.
I mean, one is obvious. It's San Francisco.
Never mind. One is easy. Yeah. So number one power ranking for both of us. Niners, easy.
I mean, they are so complete of a team. Barring a massive injury to Brock Purdy, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be able to tell what they would be like until I saw Sam Darnold. But from Sam Darnold's history, I can't say they would be the same because Brock Purdy doesn't throw interceptions.
I think he'd be. I don't think he'd be great, but I don't think he'd be as bad as we've seen him be because of the offense he'd be in and the offensive coordinator and coach he has. But yeah, I don't think he'd be Brock Purdy. But yeah, the Niners are one for me. All right, so 2.
Number 2 for me right now is the Eagles.
Whew, this one's hard for me.
I had a couple teams I could have put there, but I right now they're still there for me.
I have to agree. Right now, for me, it is the Eagles. But my number 3, I was debating with the Eagles the whole time. I've been thinking about the power rankings, but I will say the Eagles are probably number 2. 3.
Number 3 for me is the Detroit Lions.
We're staying even. They're my number 3.
I think I have them a little bit higher because I think there's a few teams you could slot here. And they'll obviously be the next 2, but I just feel like they're playing the best of the 3 teams I would have put here for.
Thank you so much yesterday, by the way, for that sub, Boogie.
I think they're playing the best football of the 3 teams that could be like the 3 teams I basically have tied for 3, 4, and 5. That could be 3. They're playing the best right now.
Yeah. So for me, honestly, it came down to the fact that this is an offensive league and they're the only offense of the teams underneath them that I feel like I've seen in offense every week.
Right.
I've never gone, where's the offense at? They're there every week. So
it's the defense you question, but they can put up points.
Yep. 4.
4, I have the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Obviously they took that loss to Buffalo. I don't mind that for them. I think they are a good enough team to hang out with the, and stay in games or possibly win them against the top teams. They're going to cause people fits. And I just think they're better than right now. I think they're better than Kansas City. I that's obviously my next team, but I just right now, even after the Bills loss, like the only people that happens to do that to them is the Bills. So if they avoid the Bills, okay.
I struggled with this really hard for 4, but I'm going to give the Chiefs 4. I think their defense is better than Miami's, and I still think Patrick Mahomes over Tua every single day of the week. So I just have to give the edge to the Chiefs, but I do think 1-on-1. I don't know if they play each other this year. I'm going to pull up their schedule because I would love to see that game. They do. November 5th.
Okay. We get that in about a month.
Wait, that's 9:30 in the morning. That's in Germany.
Ooh, it kind of throws.
It takes away some actual relevancy to this game. But I it's close because I have them reversed with each other, but I'll take the Bills and the Chiefs at 4.
Yeah, I think I have them just inverse because I have the Chiefs at 5.
Yeah, and I've got but it was the intro ad very much. But yeah, I've got the Dolphins at 5. I struggle with it a little bit just because they don't really have the best pass rush. Their defense really hasn't been there. But Jalen Ramsey will come in this season at some point. I think he adds a piece to the cornerbacks and leadership to the defense, and I think that makes a difference. So, I don't have a problem with him at 5. 6, I have a feeling we're going to be the same, but 6.
6. I was struggling here. I'm still struggling here. I don't want to put them here. But I'm going to. Oh, and I actually, you know what? Probably. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this preemptively. This was before yesterday's game. I had the Bills here.
Okay, I still have the Bills here,
and I think they're here.
London.
I know, and I know the Jags just beat them, but the thing is, from here, I only see them sliding with these those injuries to their defense can't be overlooked. I mean, Milano is the leader of that defense.
Yeah, it did worry me because the reporter after the next series said the Bills' sideline is silent. They said without Matt Milano, it has been silent. Everyone has lost their emotion. But Stephon Diggs apparently went up to each and every single player right before halftime and talked to every player individually one-on-one and tried to get them back into the game. So I got to give Diggs credit for doing that. But I have the Bills here just simply because I think their offense is dangerous enough. James Cook has done a really good job as the lead back. He's doing a good job in the pass catching. And I think Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde can rally this defense with a week of practice, with them getting used to know Matt Milano now. I think those two can step up and get this team focused a little bit back on track defensively. I feel the Bills have to be in the top 6. There's too much potential for that offense to explode at any point.
It's not like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs didn't play well, right? Like they did.
I do worry about the defense, but right now they get the Giants this week. Don't have to worry about it. They get the Pats next after that. They don't got to worry about it. And then you get the Bucks. There's going to be their first offensive superstar showdown, and then the Bengals. Sorry. So they get a couple bad weeks, and then they get the Broncos and Jets back to back. So they get back to easy games again. So they'll be all right. But yeah, I've got them 6. Okay.
7. This is all, I put them here because I think they have the potential to be here. I'm not sure I've seen it all that far, but at this point, they did just beat the Bills, and it's Jacksonville.
Ooh. Okay. I like it, but interesting. I didn't actually expect that, to be honest. That caught me off.
I have them here. I'm high on Jacksonville because they have the potential. We haven't seen them play that full potential yet. Like I said, they did just beat the Bills, but again, that was in London, and they had the advantage there. And there's some other teams I could put here. But I'm not. That's why I said I'm not so sure 7 is the correct spot for them right now. But I think they can play their way into that spot and cement it a little further later in the season.
All right, my 7 goes back to the NFC. I'm giving it to Seattle. Devon Witherspoon now next to Reek Woolen. Jamal Adams will come back. He's going to make an impact. That offense, I can't. I love what Seattle's doing right now. And just what Devon Witherspoon did in that one game, just alone, his second game of his career, I was like, all right, they have 2 young monsters at cornerback.
Yeah. They're good.
So, yeah, I know it's a little high for some, but I'm taking them at 7. I like Seattle a lot right now. And you know what? They do it every year while traveling more than any other team because they're the farthest from everybody else. So I got to give them credit. They do a lot through a lot. But, all right, 8.
8 is where I have Seattle.
Okay.
Kind of for the same reasons you do there. I think their team is definitely more complete than last year. Like you said, the addition of Witherspoon is just ridiculous. And they're playing good football. Sometimes you just look at the eye test and say, hey, they're playing well right now. Better. I'd take them over Dallas.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're just going to give team fits, and the way they're constructed, the way they're playing, it's just good. So for now, the way they're playing, they have played their way into this spot.
All right. My 8. This one's hard for me.
You got options.
This one's hard for me, but I 100% have the Baltimore Ravens here. I know they've lost a couple games, the 2 games they shouldn't have. They've also played 3 games in the division already on the road, which is a hard way to start a season. And they're injured, but I think if they can get healthy and if Lamar just stops making dumb mistakes, this team probably would be unbeaten right now. Both losses have come with bad Lamar mistakes. And I honestly think the Ravens are just too much talent to not continue growing, and Zay Flowers is going to keep moving forward, and this offense will move with him. So I feel comfortable with them at 8. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender like at the beginning of the season. I said I think they're the best team in the AFC, and I thought that, but right now I don't think so, but I think they're still one of the better AFC teams. So I got them at 8.
Okay. right now, my
Number 9 for you.
9 is going to be, and this is tough. Oof. I think so the team you just talked about is one of them, but there was 3 here, and they I could have put them all here. I think I'm going to take Baltimore here. I prefer them over the other 2 because of the offense. Yes, they have lost a couple games that they probably should have won. But I just prefer their offensive pieces to the other 2. So yeah, if they can get it going, stay healthy, and play the football they play, I think Baltimore is better than the other 2 teams that I would have put here. Like I said, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, like you said, it's just they need to get things going and just keep it rolling.
Yeah,
The fumbles got to stop.
He's got to clean that up. 100%. He's got to clean that up.
So I like Baltimore here. They're strong. They just need to put it all together.
All right, my 9's going to shock a lot of people because at the beginning of the season I had them bottom 3. My 9 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They're just outside my top 10, but I can't blame you here.
The defense the defense is working. Baker's fitting behind this offensive line. Mike Evans and Godwin are taking care of business. I honestly would have had them top 7 if they had a ground game, but they have no ground game, so I have them at 9. But right now they just look too good. Granted, this is a hell of a week to test, but we're going to see if I honestly still feel that way because they play the Lions this weekend. So we'll see how I feel after this week. They didn't, the only game they looked bad against was the Eagles.
And I mean, the Eagles are both our second best team in the NFL right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, Baker under pressure is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Eagles just got to him. I mean, if you don't face these pass rush teams, the Bucs are really going to have a great season. All right, 10, the final one of our top 10.
My 10, and I think right now I'm putting him there just because I thought about putting Pittsburgh here. I just don't like Pittsburgh's offense. I obviously they just beat the Ravens, but we know that offense is going to lack the rest of the season. This is more of like a bias pick in my opinion, but I'm going to put the Chargers here for now.
Okay.
Because they're going to get Eckler back, and they're going to get a little bit better there. Now, hopefully the defense gets better, but I would take these guys over Pittsburgh in a game. I would take these guys over Dallas in a game. I mean, there's teams that could be here, I guess, in my opinion, like Cleveland, but who knows? Like, Indy could be there. You know what I mean? It's just right now, I think the Chargers, especially because they're coming off a bye week, we got to see how well they come back.
But the Cowboys, it'll be a test.
Yeah. So let's see.
My 10's the Jags. I need to see the offense. I honestly almost didn't put them here. I'm not going to lie to you, but every piece they have is great. They just need to start showing up. They got a hell of a defense right now. So that's huge because that's where they've struggled in the past. So get some offense going and we'll be all right. All right, bottom 5. We'll start at, 32, 31, 30, 28. Yep.
Ooh, all right. 28. Give me the New York Giants.
Okay.
Especially without Saquon, that offense is awful. Even with Saquon, it's barely okay. So, it's now they have Daniel Jones neck injury. Wan'Dale Robinson has a concussion, and the defense is terrible. and they play. Who do they play next? The Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
Yeah. I battled this one a lot. 28 bottom five. The fifth worst, and I've got Arizona here. I think they've shown some fight. I think they've shown a lot of spirit this year, but I don't think they have enough to beat anyone really above them. I know what they did against Dallas, so it was hard to say 28, a bottom five team can beat Dallas, but they don't have a good game start to finish. Like they were beating the Commanders, they were beating the Giants week 1 and week 2. They let both teams back in the game and won those games. Week 3, they were battling the Niners. Then in the second half, they did literally nothing. Yesterday against the Bengals, they couldn't figure out how to handle the Bengals' really bad defense. I like the Cardinals, but yeah, I got them 28th.
Actually, they were just outside my bottom five. They were actually 27. So
Okay, yeah,
not far off, but I prefer them over the Giants. I think just because they play with a little bit more spirit.
Trust me, I prefer them over the Giants too. The Giants are going down my list.
Okay.
All right, 29.
29. Surprisingly higher than I thought they would be this season. And it's only currently, but the Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm only putting them here because obviously they beat one of the teams that's going to be below them. And yeah, I don't think they're terrible. Don't get me wrong. But there's worse teams. Like, that's the thing. There are worse teams. And,
yeah.
And I think by the end of the season, they're still going to be a bottom 2, bottom 3 team. But right now, they're not. Just, again, with that win this week, it kind of threw a wrench in the spokes, if you will, just for where they are, because now you have to put other teams below them, and you're like, okay, well, they're still terrible. Like, Justin Fields still only threw like 15 passes that were completed.
And only to 3 targets.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, you got to take that one with a grain of salt. But yeah, they're a bottom 5 team for sure. I just don't know where they end up in the bottom 5. I think they end up in the bottom 2, to be honest. But
all right, well, this is where I have the team they just beat. I have the Commanders 29th. I think they're better than the Bears. I know they just lost to the Bears. I just think that when it comes down to it, they have a better overall roster. I don't know what the hell the game was this week, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know how you lose to a guy throwing to 3 players, but they did it, and I'm proud of them. But I actually was really high on the Commanders 2 weeks ago, and that has completely left the building. But I do think Sam Howell is a good quarterback, and I think that's something that they should be proud of. They have a good guy at quarterback, and I guess we'll just have to see. But I just lost all my faith in this team, and I think it's freaking awesome to see Anders Carlson and Daniel Carlson before the game with their entire family, and their dad is wearing a split Packers Raiders jersey because their sons are both kickers. But yeah, I don't know. Not a fan of the Commanders anymore. I was on their train a little bit, but
I have them way further up the list than you then, because I have them at like 23.
Chase Young's just done nothing. The defense giving up that game to the Bears really, like 85 red flags for me that happened.
He missed it.
It was tipped by, I don't remember his name.
I said it looked like it was tipped.
I can't think of who that is. I'm staring at him and I can't think of his name. But Motrell Adams, maybe? I don't know. Anyway. All right. 30.
30. Oh. Pains me to say this. The New England Patriots.
Okay.
They're just bad. Like, Mac Jones is bad. And like I said, I don't think he got a fair shot, but I mean, you got to call it as you see it, right? Offensive line and running game don't exist. Defense is decimated by injuries and not stopping anybody.
Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. You're right. I have the Commanders 27. I have the Patriots 28 at 29. I have the Patriots at 29.
I was telling you, I'm like, how do you have the Commanders here? There's definitely worse teams than them. Like,
yeah, no, for what you're saying,
they're inconsistent, so they're going to lose a game like this to the Bears, right? Like that does happen in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I'll take the Patriots at 29. For everything you're saying, I have the Patriots 29. I think they can bounce back every now and again, but they're just no There's just no offense, like you said. No ground game, no offensive line. The secondary is literally the most beat up secondary in the NFL. So
they were playing like what cornerback 6 and 7 at one point. Like
yeah,
like
traded
yeah.
for just can't cover.
Yeah, JC just can't cover Jackson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I obviously it pains me to say it, but I hope they keep losing. We need some changes.
And this is 30 for you, right?
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, because I have a 29. So yeah, my 30 is the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, we're not far off here, pal.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just getting used to Sean Payton's system, but Russell hasn't, like I said, statistically, he's not bad this season. He's actually been pretty good. They don't have any consistency. Their offense has no momentum, does not move forward, and their defense was one of the best defenses in the NFL last year and now can't cover anything. So I just have no faith in the Denver Broncos. They look like a
– and their only win, they should have lost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong here because I have them at 31. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, Sean Payton's trying to create a functional offense with Russell Wilson, and it just doesn't seem to work. I'm honestly, like, as each week passes, I'm just saying Russell Wilson isn't it, dude. Like, he's just not it. He's had flashes of old Russell, but he just can't throw the ball downfield. And if they are a bottom feeding team this year, they are getting a quarterback.
100% agree.
So don't mistake it with Sean Payton. He will go draft a top quarterback and fucking figure out the Russell Wilson money thing, because you can have Russell Wilson as your backup. You can, because you're not paying this other guy.
Yeah. All right, my 31.
Like sorry. Their defense just isn't their defense of last year. It just isn't.
No, it's definitely not. My 31 is the Chicago Bears. I know what they did, and I know Justin Fields has shown moments in back-to-back weeks, but realistically, they are the two of the worst defenses right now, 31st and 29th. So he's done nothing special to me yet, and the defense is abysmal in Chicago. They don't have a pass rush. They don't have an offensive line. Justin Fields is the second most hit quarterback in the NFL behind only Sam Howell. So, there's just nothing. I don't see any positives for the Bears. They traded a fucking 32nd overall pick for Chase Claypool, got frustrated with them in less than half a season, and traded him for a 6th round pick to the Dolphins this year.
So you actually moved backwards.
It has gone everything wrong with the Chicago Bears, and I just don't have any faith. The only reason I don't have them 32nd is because they have a win. And I know that's not everything, but it's hard to say you're the worst team in football when the other team can't win a game.
Right. And I think we both have the last team correct here.
Carolina.
Yes.
They've got nothing great right now. Adam Thielen's their best player. That's not a good thing.
No, he's an aging wide receiver. And mind you, he's actually doing what he's supposed to because he is your number one, but he's not a true number one.
Exactly.
And to be honest with you, you took the wrong quarterback with your pick.
Yeah, and my question is, where is this Carolina defense we saw last year? It just vanished.
Offensive line and defensive line for them are terrible. Like,
yeah,
they're problems. There are big problems. There are big holes there. And like you said, they are just not defensively what we've seen out of Carolina defenses. So I honestly think if they slide and they keep sliding, because obviously they're 0-5 now, they've got to be pretty damn close to the bottom at the end of the year. They could probably trade out of it only a few spots because they're probably going to want somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr.
They don't have their pick, do they?
Oh, you're right.
I'm pulling it up now. I just thought about it. I'm pretty sure they traded it.
That's true.
They own their own 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They do not have a first.
Who has their first?
The Bears.
Oh, the Bears are going to get paid off this year.
The Bears could wind up having 1 and 2 if they wind up the second worst team behind the Panthers.
Nuts, because they could trade one of them.
Or they could just go Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams one to well, Caleb said he won't go to Chicago, but
by the way, I looked it up for you. Caleb Williams says he can make more money returning to USC next season than as a rookie in the NFL, and says because of that, he can pick what team he wants to go to. His 5 teams are the Cowboys, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, and 49ers, which is probably going to be the Vikings or Giants. If they're listening to this guy, which you know they are, they say, okay, what does it take for us to get there?
I don't know if the Giants will tank because of how much they just paid Daniel Jones. It looks really bad.
Kirk Cousins has no contract next year.
Honestly, if you're the Vikings and you hear it, you go up to Justin Jefferson behind closed doors and be like, look, don't worry about what's about to happen. We're going to get you Caleb Williams.
Yep.
We're going to trade Kirk Cousins.
And then you say, and you can nurse whatever injuries you have. We don't need you to go all out this year.
Yeah. If you're the Vikings, it's the perfect opportunity. Look, as a Packers fan, I don't want Caleb Williams in the division. But
the Raiders are in there too, so
yeah, but the Raiders are showing a little bit against the Packers tonight. Not that means much. I think the Packers, honestly, if I had to tell you, I think I have them about 22nd right now. I don't think they're that good. They're too injured. The defense is good, but their offense can't stay on the field, so the defense just gets exhausted and it just doesn't look good. So yeah. I just have no faith in them. But the Raiders, before tonight's game, I honestly thought we were going to blow them out, and I was going to be like, the Raiders are a bottom 5 team, but with Jimmy G, they can win games. They have Devontae Adams. You have Jacoby Myers is having a hell of a game tonight. You have Josh Jacobs. You have Hunter Renfrow. You've got the pieces, and I'll say it because Darlene's going to yell at us. You got Michael Mayer. You've got the pieces, so there's no reason they can't be great.
Right.
Not great, but good because their defense isn't good. Max Crosby though has been destroying this game.
Yeah.
He has been single-handedly controlling the entire defense today. So good for him. An absolute monster.
And just for a quick update, the Phillies were up 4-0 and lost 5-4.
Fuck it, let's go Atlanta. My National League team has won a game. All right.
There you go. And the Diamondbacks are up 3-0 on the Dodgers in the top of the second.
God damn it. I really want a Braves-Dodgers NLCS. It would be so good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as a Chipper Jones, literally maybe my hero as a child, I'll always root for Atlanta unless they're playing the O's. So, but I got to say that we didn't go past 10. I want to say, who was your 10?
10 was the Chargers.
I do want to say I have them in the top 14, but I want to say, and it's not just because of yesterday's loss. I think the Texans, going to clarify, I think that I would take the Texans over the other team in Texas.
Okay.
I'm bold statementing, but I would take that team over the team in Texas that's opposite of them.
I'm not there yet, but I think it would be a good battle.
I think the quarterback play is so much higher on one side of that matchup, and I think it would win them the game.
Okay.
I know people love Dak. I don't think Dak can do what CJ does. CJ is a leader. CJ doesn't close up and shut down. Hell, they were losing that game with 2 minutes and some odd seconds left, and C.J. Stroud just put his drive together and would have won the game, but then the defense gave up 2 really big plays to Desmond Ridder and Kyle Pitts, and they lost the game to a game-winning field goal. But C.J. Stroud, as a rookie, drove down the field and scored a game-winning touchdown because he's a monster. And I was like, man, that kid is special to me. I believe so highly in what he's doing.
Not entirely on Ohio State quarterbacks, but on at least one of them,
Yeah, I don't think – well, at least we know he's going to be the only one for a while. Kyle McCord is terrible at Ohio State right now, so it's going to be a little bit before. Them and Alabama both have a quarterback problem. I think they're going to have some problems if they play a top team.
Okay.
But, all right, it's 10 o'clock. Do we have anyone to rate? I have no idea.
I haven't actually looked at Twitch.
Oh, we haven't done Thursday night. Do we have to do Thursday night? It's like the Chiefs Broncos.
Chiefs.
Okay, we have two games. We have to do the Monday and the Sunday 9:30 in the morning game. All right, so Chiefs Broncos. We're both going to go Chiefs. Like he said Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs. Sunday night or Sunday morning. Sorry, 9:30 in the morning. The Baltimore Ravens and the New Orleans, the Tennessee Titans.
Oof.
It's hard.
I want to Baltimore here.
I'm going to go the Ravens because I think even with Marlon Humphreys playing a little banged up, DeAndre Hopkins isn't George Pickens.
Right.
So I think he'll be able to handle that kind of cover because it's more of just a physical matchup than it is speed.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are better in every other aspect of the game of football. They won't be able to run the ball because the Titans did just get dominated on the ground by Zach Moss. But one bad defensive rushing game doesn't mean anything. They were top 4 in the NFL against the run before this week. So, but yeah, I'll go Ravens.
All right. I think we're good on that.
I meant to check about Raid, and I just literally put my phone down. I looked, then said, nope, never mind, and put my phone down. I was hoping Chewy was alive, but I don't see him. Oh, I got someone.
Okay. Send us on over.
You got someone. You just don't even know it.
Okay.
Let me pull him up. Nobody leave us. Don't you say those words. You stay right here because that's where we're going anyway.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to say it's got to be somebody I know pretty well if they're on.
M-A-G. I'm fucking struggling here, Chief. T-E-R-O-B. That's where we were going anyway, because, we got to make the bigger number for this man because he is a glorious human being. Then we need to. But, gaming news before we get out of here, because we do a little bit of gaming news. I mean, it is already starting the countdown, so we don't got long. Overwatch new season starts tomorrow. The new skins are all based off Diablo 4.
Oh, nice.
Call of Duty or Activision Blizzard's deal with Microsoft is finally expected to be sold. Finally done deal Friday. They have a major press conference announced for Friday. Activision and Microsoft do. So just assume that's what that is. And Apex news, Apex stuff leaked all day long today. Lifeline's getting a complete rework.
Good.
New character got announced. I don't know. It's supposed to be Octane and Lifeline's child or something. I don't know.
Nice.
And Loba's getting the next rework skin or prestige skin, and the next heirloom is a really cool looking ass sword, and it's going to be Newcastle's.
Nice.
That's all I got. All right, let's go give some love to Mr. Oban. We love you guys. We'll be back Sunday morning at 11:30. Have a great night, everybody.
Appreciate y'all being here. Love ya.
Let's go visit.
Is it?
I've never.
What the hell?
I've never heard of this game.
I gotta pull it up where we're going. What is it called?
Contraband Police.
Oh, okay.